Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I am your host, Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host, Edward. What is up, Edward?
Not bad.
What's up, man? Like I said, another book in the NFL, another week done. Week 12 has officially ended. Well, about to end while we're recording this episode. But there was a lot of good games, a lot of some upsets. Um, what's your take on week 12 of the NFL?
Uh, Funny you asking that. I kind of teased it last episode that this is kind of like the point in the season where like football really starts to matter. Like you kind of see what some teams are made out of. And I think week 12 definitely lived up to the hype. I think we had four overtime games.
Hmm.
So I think this week in particular, I know the NFL changes on like such a week to week basis, but I think this week was really definitely raising my eyebrows about like certain teams as we're kind of nearing the it's still not playoff time, but like I said, we're starting to see what certain teams are kind of made out of. Even some teams that are contenders and actually aren't contenders, they're still late in the season. Some teams are still putting up a fight.
Yeah, and we'll see what you can see which ones are contenders and which ones are pretenders of the season. It's been a crazy season. It's crazy how it's like this season's like a parody. It's been crazy. There's been a lot of teams that should be good and they haven't been, and they've lost. Obviously, starting like Thursday, for example, that the Texans they beat the Bills. Obviously, with Dougie Mills beating Josh Allen on Thursday.
I mean, Davis Mills.
Yeah, is it Dougie? I mean, his nickname Dougie Mills.
I, I mean, how we even got to Dougie Mills? I mean, yeah, maybe that was like a Pat McAfee thing, but I heard that he
I
has
just thought
embraced the nickname. But I guess I don't even know like how they even came to the conclusion his name is Doug. But I guess when he
David.
saw this said D Mills, so I guess he just thought he looked like a Doug, but his name's actually Davis
I mean,
Mills.
he kind of looks like Doug. He's bald.
He's not bald; his hair is just receding. But I know I kind of understand where you're getting at.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's been a crazy season. A lot of headlines, obviously. We can just start with like probably one of the biggest stories and the biggest headline is Shedeur Sanders starting his first game in the NFL, his NFL debut. Dylan Gabriel was obviously in concussion protocol, and he couldn't play this game. He took on the Las Vegas Raiders, which passed on him in this past year's draft. Could have taken him, but they didn't. Um, yeah, man. What's your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut?
I mean, obviously, let's get to let's kind of get into the whole backstory of this.
Yeah.
Shedeur Sanders, he's the son of NFL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders, who was also his coach in college, and kind of like I guess he kind of helped contribute to like all the eyes around Colorado and college football.
Hmm.
And the real interesting thing was that he had. I think a lot of people projected him as a first round talent, but during the whole draft, he actually slid all the way to the fifth round, and everybody kind of had their conspiracies as to why he slid so far.
Hmm.
Famous dad, very famous outspoken dad. Probably thought he was probably like a nepo baby. Didn't really feel like. I think they felt like his personality might be a little much for certain teams. I think that a lot of owners kind of use that excuse to make him kind of fall in the draft, even though if you watch Colorado play, you understood that he definitely had a lot more talent, and it just didn't really make sense considering that his favorite targets and close friends, Travis Hunter, was actually the
Hmm.
second overall pick in that draft, and the guy throwing him the ball slid all the way to the fifth round. So yeah, it was definitely a fishy thing, and even going into the season when he wasn't starting, his name just kept making conversations as to why isn't he starting or he should start based on like what we saw in college.
Did they interview
Compare,
him? Didn't they like interview him one time when it was should have been like Dylan Gabriel? Like they were asking like why the reporters asking questions to like a backup, or was he like a third string? Like yes, his name was so big, like, they would, the whole story was about him,
Mhm.
even he wasn't playing, it was Shedeur Sanders, like, when he's gonna get his moment, when's he gonna have his time, and he
And
finally did.
also seeing how he got drafted to the Browns, something very consistent with the Browns. Something very consistent with the Browns is the inconsistency that constantly we had at quarterback. So
45, 40, 45 quarterbacks,
and
something like this, something like that, something crazy like that. Uh,
honestly, like the culture of the Cleveland Browns, that unfortunately is their culture. They just don't have consistency at quarterback, and this has gone on for decades.
yeah, but he did break something that the Cleveland Browns consistently did was a rookie quarterback, not winning a game in his NFL debut, and he did. He broke that
I,
streak. He won the game
yeah,
off.
I understand. Like he's had so much attention follow him, and I'm not taking anything away.
No,
I mean, obviously I'm a Steelers fan, and seeing how he's in the division, I'm not going to take anything away from that. But also, we just do have to keep in mind he did play the the
it was a two and
the, the shitty Raiders. Like,
it was two and eight teams going at it. Um, yes, Shedeur Sanders had moments. He played, that throw that kind of was it like a 53-yard throw to Isaiah Bond, um, which like kind of had Miles Garrett like what the heck? Like he probably hasn't seen that in a while. Um, but he had some sparks. Obviously, the interception that he had, he had some shining moments only with 1 week of preparation. Um, you know, like
what were his stats?
before, like
He went 11 for 20 for 208 or 280, I think.
yeah,
The stats in front of me.
yeah, 11 for 20, 209. Could have been more if Jerry Judy didn't fumble that ball. Um, but yeah, I mean, he has certain moments before the game even started. They interviewed him and he basically they asked him like, "What do you expect? What should the fans expect?" Or what was the question they asked him? Like, what should they expect from him
Let
as
me
a
see if I can
quarterback?
find the quote.
I think, well, he didn't he just say like I'm the one, like, I'm gonna be the guy that they're looking for, or who they've been looking for.
Yeah, some to that
Something
effect.
like that. But that's his personality. He's always been that type of guy. Like,
He is his father's son.
yeah,
If you
they're
know anything about how Dion played the game, he was very flashy and outspoken and
yeah, he's
wasn't fall too
flashy,
far from the street.
which which is good. Like you can have somebody like cocky and like they're confident in themselves, like they ask him, he's like, I'm calm, cool, and collective, like I'm good, like this is my first game, but I'm good. And he said that, and he, it's funny how he said that, and he just walked away, and that's a good. There's some edit will probably have that, and they won the
Mhm.
game. But yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing to take away from his win. They did play the Raiders. The Raiders did just fire Chip Kelly. Um,
Long overdue.
yeah,
Like
the
I'm not
offense.
bitter. I'm not bitter about it because I have Ashton Jennings in my fantasy league, but this is what I know about the Chip Kelly offense. It's very run heavy, and I know like he probably got the NFL job based on like what he's done in college, but it really doesn't matter whoever the quarterback is in that offense. You're not gonna really. It really doesn't matter who's throwing the ball. It's not really quarterback friendly or
Yeah,
receiver
but
friendly.
run heavy. Like look at Ashton Jennings, 17 carries for 50 yards. And I feel like they should do more
Hmm.
with
It's
him.
like that's been like
Like,
the whole problem with the Raiders too. Like they have talented players on that roster on the offense too, but it's just like it's not the best offensive philosophy for like those pieces of talent. Yeah, you have Ashton Genty. Yeah, you have Brock Bowers, who is a tight end, but I think you try to move him out kind of like a wide out.
yeah,
And like the other receivers, I
Lockett.
think that yeah, I think that also played a role kind of why if we go back to the beginning of the season, Amari Cooper, he went back to the Raiders but immediately retired before the season started because
Maybe he saw
I
something.
yeah, he probably just knew like even if he's getting up there or like he's considered a vet, like you're still not really going to be doing much in this offense.
Yeah.
So
But Gino hasn't played good either. Like you can see some of the the Raiders fans, they just
and shit,
Gino has not played good. Like now, whether
Honestly,
we'll see what happens in the offseason. They're definitely gonna be top three, top five,
it's
in the
like
picks.
Raiders fans, it's just been so bad even since probably like the last glimmer of hope they probably had maybe was when John Gruden was the coach and then he had
No,
his.
but remember when they made the playoffs, with
Yeah,
Rich
yeah,
Rashad,
I
they had
mean,
that moment.
those playoff appearances were also one and done too, so they haven't even had even when they do make the playoffs, they still haven't had the postseason success. So
Yeah,
the Raiders were known for kind of like having a specific brand, but I think lifelong fans feel like recently they've just gone away from that. And they love Max Crosby, but yeah, I know it's kind of weird having like a guy on defense being like a pillar in the face of the franchise,
wait,
but I think
wait.
they also feel Max deserves better.
I mean, that's the same thing for Miles Garrett. He basically is the face of the franchise. We're not. What is he? Did he break the sack? What is he at He's the leading sack record or something like that. I know they sacked Geno like what six or seven times.
No, I think the Raiders as a whole they sacked him 10 times, but yeah, I think he currently leads the NFL in 18 sacks.
Yeah. So their defense, the Cleveland Browns defense, is probably the biggest story. It's the key for this win. Obviously, they would would have forced a fumble on or no, if I don't remember. Honestly, I just watched the game just to see what Shedeur was doing. I knew this game was kind of be ass anyways. But the defense played well. Cleveland Browns defense has always been played well. But like I said, nothing to take away from Shedeur. They did play the Raiders. We'll see what happens next week. They play against the Niners. Um,
And it was just not Shedeur also. Dylan Gabriel clear concussion protocol, but Shedeur Sanders will start for that game. And I
it's like
guess we can kind of like you
how
kind of
can
take
you
away that he's like the starter for the foreseeable future.
but how can you not start him after like that game? After them winning. This is the third win, and nothing to take away from Dylan Gabriel. I feel like I don't know.
I think
Maybe
it's
they're both
still
they both weren't in, and they're not in a good situation. Both of them. You know.
I think it's also more like when he got hurt, he was kind of thrown into the fire in that Ravens game, and
Yeah.
his stats kind of show he had bad stats, but I think you could also tell he was very unprepared. And I think
He is undersized. He's undersized
like the
for a
whole
quarterback.
issue around that too is also if he's your backup quarterback who's supposed to prepare like a starter, why do you look like the way you looked
Yeah.
in that game once he was called to action?
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I think Shedeur, the fans, they were hyped. I don't know, for some reason the 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 team had the energy, them Shedeur being there, Shedeur starting, so we'll see what happens. But it's the Browns, so we don't know.
Yeah. It I guess like going back to the whole conspiracy theories, it's just like I think owners saw his attitude or like his personality, and they felt that maybe sending him to Cleveland would send a message about maybe. I think they wanted to send a message to like basically send him to like the NFL's hellhole, and just maybe send a message saying like your career will never thrive, considering like we said earlier how many quarterbacks have been in that organization, and not really that organization really hasn't done much with the quarterbacks they've drafted either.
But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about the Chiefs. The Chiefs and the Colts. The Chiefs won a close game. Last week we talked about how the Chiefs haven't won a close game this season. They were 0-5 coming up to this game in close games. Another close game. They were able to win this game. The Colts had chances to kind of close the game out, but they didn't. What's your thoughts on the Kansas City Chiefs? And are the Chiefs still the Chiefs,
I
even with six and
mean,
five? Right now, currently they sit out of the playoffs. Still.
that is true, but I find it so funny. Even I think we were even doing the last episode. I think we even teased that like every time we question the Chiefs, they always like even when like things aren't going right, even going back to the last Super Bowl they made, it's like they always never really. It's always something with the Chiefs. Like we start questioning them, but then like they finally have those moments where they show like, oh, now we see why everybody considers this team a dynasty.
Hmm.
But yeah, basically the Chiefs knew what they were going against. They knew it was a must-win game. They've been losing close games, and I know this game was a good game to kind of like help keep their season alive. But I think it also
Against a really
showed
good
that
team.
like it also showed that like they are like the Mahomes era. They won three championships, and you kind of just saw like you can't really kill the heart of a champion, and
Mhm.
they really did everything that overtime. He kept finding Rasheed Rice in that overtime and in the fourth quarter also, and it was just like you get like I've always kind of compared the Chiefs to the Golden State Warriors because it's kind of like this whole Steph Curry effect. Once Steph starts getting hot, that's when you start getting scared. But like once Mahomes is in rhythm, that's also another scary sight.
Yeah, that was like in the
Like
fourth quarter when they were kind of getting the rhythm.
he's a
Um,
two-time league MVP and a three-time Super Bowl MVP for a reason. Like those moments right there just show you like I know he had the bad performance in the last Super Bowl, but I'm still that guy. You still don't want the ball in 15's hands in crunch time
yeah.
if you're on the other side.
Yeah, and like I said, the Colts they made some key stops. Kareem Hunt fumbled the ball in the goal line. The Colts just couldn't do anything after that, and that's where
But yeah, it
you
goes
know
back to like yeah, like I said about like the heart of a champion. Like yeah, Kareem Hunt he had that fumble, but they still committed to the run game and they still decided to give him the ball.
you
Other
could see
times,
like
like yeah, usually if you're probably having trouble keeping the ball, you get benched or they find another running back to give the attention to. But they still stayed committed to Kareem Hunt, and it just showed.
you see Travis Kelce kind of like trying to give him
Mhm.
encouragement, tell him that you're good, like we still need you, we still need you, and he was key for them. 30 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. Second second lead rusher was Mahomes. Clyde Edwards-Helaire still there for
Yeah, that was also something I noticed during the game. I almost forgot. Like, I actually shot Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still on this team.
I think his
It's been a
number changed, right?
while.
Wasn't he like 25? And now he's like 26. I think when he stepped away,
Hmm.
he changed his number. But yeah, man, I think the Chiefs, there's still some work to do. But we still don't we still have to see defensively. They were able to Chris Jones had some key pressures on Daniel Jones to where they really couldn't do much. I think they stopped them too, right? On the goal line too. I feel like I feel like the coach should have just kind of
Yeah,
during the
they
goal line
also
they should have just ran with Jonathan Taylor. You have one of the
they did
MVP
do a good
candidate.
they did do a good job of containing Jonathan Taylor
Yeah.
because, like I said, he's an MVP candidate as well, but also eliminate. It's kind of like what the Steelers did when they played him too, like eliminate him from the game plan. So it kind
Have
of
somebody else
disrupt.
beat you. Have somebody else beat you.
Mhm. And it kind of
Um,
like helped. It kind of helped like disrupt Daniel Jones and like kind of what he was trying to do, or like trying to find other people, and also the pressure got to him too.
yeah, I mean he didn't play that bad. It was a really good game. It's two really good teams. The Colts are still I still think they're a really good team defensively. They have a really good team offensively. Daniel Jones has done a good job. But like I said, it was an Arrowhead. It was a must win for the Chiefs.
Also, another
So
thing with the Chiefs, I always like even when their backs against the wall, they're playing like even bigger competition. There's something about Arrowhead Stadium. I feel like one, it's a loud stadium, but
that
like
four
I also
o'clock,
feel
that 4 o'clock
I
game.
feel like it always kind of works in the Chiefs' favor. Like I feel like they thrive off of that momentum from the crowd too.
Yeah. And Mahomes went for over 300 yards, 352 yards. He threw a pick. He got sacked 4 times, but like I said, the Chiefs are still. Like I said, I don't think they win the division, but I think there's still a chance for them to sneak into the playoffs, especially the way that the playoffs are set. Like I said, they're a game behind the Chargers in second place. They're 3 games behind the Broncos, but remember the Broncos and the Chargers beat them, so we'll see. And then the Chiefs, let me see what the games they got next. They got the Cowboys, which is probably going to be one of the biggest and most viewed games, um, probably in Thanksgiving in history. Obviously, with the Chiefs winning, and then the Cowboys just upsetting. We'll talk about that later. With the Cowboys just upsetting the Eagles, but yeah, then they got the Texans, the Chargers, the Titans, Broncos, and then end with the Raiders. Chiefs got the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chargers, the Titans, the Broncos, and against the Raiders. So there's some winnable games that they have. They could probably win where they got one, two, three, four, five, six. They could probably win four out of the six games, maybe even five. We'll see. They're like 10. They have like three divisional games left. So we'll see
And
what
we
happens with
still
them.
don't we still don't necessarily know all the playoff scenarios, but I think the Chiefs just understand when and
They understand that they got to win. They got to
mhm.
win to stay alive and to get and to make it to the playoffs. But like I said,
Side note, I think the only team that's actually been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs actually is the New York Giants.
yeah, the Giants. Hey, but Jameis, let's talk about the game. Yeah, Jameis Winston,
Yeah,
man, what
yeah,
he
that was. I
re
think people. I think people were probably expecting like maybe a Lions blowout the Giants, but it was actually a shootout. It was actually a
yeah,
surprising shootout.
and Jameis Winston with that receiving touchdown,
I think
especially
people
with
are
that
starting
little
to say that was the play of the season. That might be one of the best plays of the season.
yeah, oh my God, man, Jameis Winston played
Because
so well.
not only is it kind of like a flea flicker to basically Gunnar, James tosses it back to Gunnar Olszewski and he kind of flanks out as a wideout and Gunnar just tosses the ball. Not only did James actually catch the ball, but he broke the tackle to actually
Yeah.
get into the end zone like a receiver. I don't think a lot of people saw like James had that in his bag too.
Yeah, man, but he has revived this team, even though they lost this game in overtime. There's 2-10. I don't know. It's just, James Winston starting. It just you don't know what you're gonna get with James Winston. You know he's gonna throw the ball and he's gonna throw a
Yeah,
pick. You know,
yeah. It's so funny just like watching the whole story of James. Like he was a number one overall pick, and I guess it didn't really work out with the Bucks, and they kind of wanted to move in a different direction once they got Tom Brady, and like they kind of yeah, they just wanted to move in a direction with Tom Brady, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. But the thing with James is like I know he probably kind of felt maybe a little discouraged after the Bucks moved on from him and they won a Super Bowl, but he had some stops in New Orleans and
New
then
Orleans.
Cleveland, New Orleans and then
Forgot he was
Cleveland. Kind of
Cleveland.
yeah, he just kind of like relishes into the role of being a backup, and now he's kind of just like
Man, he's a
he's got
motivator.
he's kind of taking the NFL by storm with just like his personality, his energy. Like,
I love what he said. He was like, we outside, but we're inside. Like like
I mean, even going back to like him in Tampa Bay, like that's always kind of who James has been. Like, I know like he has like very like topsy turvy play, but I think everybody just the best word to describe him was like a character. James just has that energy to him, and I think even he knows it too. But it's just like he just has this relentless energy that like regardless of what team he plays for, I think a lot of guys feed off of it.
yeah, he's a locker room guy. But the Lions, they were able to win the game in overtime. They were down, what? They were down by 10 or something like that. But they were able to keep up. They won the game. Jahmyr Gibbs is he's a baller. Ran for over 219 yards, two touchdowns, uh, caught 45 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. That dude is probably one of the best players right now in the NFL. And it's showing the Lions can put up points. It just they're up and down this season. They've just been up and down.
It's like, yeah, it's kind of similar to like what happened last year too. Is like, yeah, they had a lot of guys out on defense, but that offense, they can still kind of like keep them in the game, put up points. Their offense, they still show signs, but I think maybe like the switching of play calling duties might have I don't want to say affected them, but like you can kind of
So
see
when
maybe
it
it's having an effect on the season. But they're still finding ways to win games. But
so
I
when
think
the
that's
play
also
call
I think that's also like it helps them win games, but I think it's also maybe like kind of help them lose certain games too.
yeah. All right, let's move on to a game that you had close eyes, more attention to. Your Pittsburgh Steelers went to Chicago to take on Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. They're hot right now. Um, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they lost. The Bears won in a close game. What's your thoughts on this game? it was a very close battle, back and forth. But ultimately, the Bears won.
Yeah, as you can see from my background, the Steelers logo. You ever hear the saying "stuck between a rock and a hard place"?
Yeah.
Yeah, that perfectly encapsulates the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers. And looking at the score, 31-28. We lost 31-28. So the Steelers currently sit at 6-5. We
Second in
lost
the division.
yep, lost another close game. And yeah, that's just truly, truly on brand the Steelers. Like good enough to compete, not good enough. Good enough to compete, not bad enough to truly suck. And kind of you kind of I'm not saying the season's over, but you kind of just see that, hey, if we get to 8 wins or hey, we're going to be over 500, yeah, that's fine. I guess that's fine. But we're kind of just used to it. We're not even angry as a fan. We're not really angry over the loss. Like we're just kind of just we kind of accepted
Like
the
this is
normality being
yeah, yeah,
purgatory. Yeah.
this is it. This is normal for you guys. Um, it looked like you guys were doing good. Mason Rudolph had some showings.
I
He
mean,
threw
yeah,
he
yeah.
threw that interception.
I mean, yeah, going back to like the 2025 Steelers, that's kind of been us. Like there are times the offense does well and the defense doesn't really do much, and it's the other way around. Sometimes the defense makes plays like they did when they made Caleb fumble and
That
scored in the end zone. But
what
the
was
off-
Caleb thinking in that play? Like, what was he thinking?
like
Like, couldn't get rid of
like the
it?
deep
Like,
like basically what I'm saying is like the defense will show up and then the offense will just be
yeah.
no, nothing's going on,
And
and
vice
basically
versa. But some games it will be the offense and
and I know I said it's okay to have a quality backup like Mason Rudolph, but also just show that Mason Rudolph is what he is, nothing more, nothing less of a backup quarterback. So he'll have his chances, but also I feel like he was probably handicapped too because as you can see, they weren't really throwing in the middle of the field, and it just seemed like they were really playing conservative and like they didn't really do any. They really
now
didn't
who's
really show any. They
now
didn't
who's
really
that
show any
on?
adjusted. They didn't really show any adjustments after halftime. So um,
Who
I
now
still
who's
feel
that
like
on? Now who's that on? Like trying to not they're playing so conservative and not try to
I mean, there were moments that were showing running the ball too, but it's
Kenneth
just,
Gainwell had a game, and I feel like that's what you guys should. You have Gainwell and Jalen Warren. I feel like they should have trying to do a little bit more. And I think moving forward, I think that's what you guys need to do because it shows that those two are key players for you guys.
I mean, I'm not going to say the season's over, and I'm not going to hit the panic
Still
button
live.
either.
You're still live.
I'm not going to hit the panic button either, but as we've seen, we have a 41-year-old starting quarterback who can play, is
He
aging,
wanted to play this game. He
and
wanted to play this
also
game.
we also have a backup quarterback who's shown signs, but like I said, some guys have these limitations. And I know you're talking about like basically keeping him healthy, but I think during the game, our starting left tackle also went down with an injury too.
Hmm.
So and DK kind of got dinged up too.
He came back though, but
So yeah,
that
like I
was
said, how do I say it? I'm not hitting the panic button, but I'll say I have the panic button in one of those in case of emergency cases. And
remember. You still have 2 games to go against the Ravens. The Ravens, despite them winning 5 games in a row, they haven't been really playing good. The Jets, it was a close one in Baltimore.
I mean,
The
when
the
the
Ravens
time,
have been the Ravens have been up and down. The Bengals are getting Joe Burrow, but it's probably gonna be they're probably out of the playoffs. They probably don't have no chance. The only way for them to win is to basically win out the rest of the game and be 9-8. But
I mean, you did bring up the Ravens, and we got them in 2 weeks. And I know when the time comes, things will be different. But I guess I can hang my head on that. That's the only thing that's probably going to give me life and the reason to get out of bed. But get out of
they
bed
win.
for those matchups. But
Did they win with Aaron Rodgers? If Aaron Rodgers played this game, do you think they would have won? Would the offense be a little bit better?
I think it would have been the same result.
You think?
Like I don't want to say it's frustrating, but like you also just know as a Steelers fan, like this is just what we are. Or we, like, can we make it to the playoffs? Probably. We'll win the playoff game. Who knows? And
Well, you have a like your next match, you're going against the Bills, and the Bills haven't played well. And the one thing that's probably the weakness for the Bills is stopping the run. And
yeah,
I
that's
feel
an.
like and in that game, I feel like Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren have to be
I mean,
have to
yeah,
be a key part of the offense in order for
that's
you guys to
another
win.
thing. Like, yeah, the Bills had their moments, but I think it can also be another one possession game. So even if the Steelers were to win the game, it's like the deficiency. It's like the deficiencies on both sides of the ball have kind of been the story of the Steelers, and it's just that's what makes it frustrating as a fan because yeah, you kind of win, but like how long can we keep doing this? Like that's not really sustainable. And also,
Yeah. Like
even look at last year, we still got into the playoffs, but
it's
like
one and done.
we lost those games, and it's just like that kind of tells the story of, like the team moving forward. Like you kind of realistically knew like constantly losing but still limping to the playoffs. That doesn't really give you much hope as a fan either way.
Yeah. I mean, you have it's you have the Bills, which I is a game that you guys could win, obviously with the inconsistency of the Bills, but they still have Josh Allen. You go against the Ravens, which also they haven't been playing well. They won what 5 games in a row, but they also haven't been playing well. You're going against the Dolphins, which we'll see what happens that game. The Dolphins have played better. Then you're going against the Lions, and you know you have to definitely put up points, and then the defense has to really, really step up that day. And then you go against the Browns, which by then we don't even know what the Browns are or
Yeah, I've
who's
seen
going to be the
much
starting
football.
quarterback. And
Yeah,
then you
you've
end it
seen
with
much football.
the Ravens. So there's some winnable games for the Steelers, but like you said, the inconsistency is where one game is the offense, one game is the defense. It's never both the same. So, and then you have good wins where you beat the Colts, but then you lose against, the Bears, and who else did you guys lose? Like the Chargers, you guys, what? The Bengals, the game you guys lost to get the Bengals. There's games where you guys won really good games, and then games that you probably should have won. So we'll see
I
what happens.
mean, like I said, will we get? Can we reach a 500 work? Can we reach a 500 record? Probably. And we playoff game. Who knows?
Yeah,
Super Bowl. Honestly, probably not.
yeah.
It's just the story of the Steelers. So I'm desensitized to it. It is what it is as a fan. And yeah,
All right.
that perfectly encapsulates the Steelers. It is what it is.
Yeah, and let's move on to another team. NFL game, the game of the week was the Eagles versus the Cowboys. Man, what a game this was. The Cowboys obviously they won last Monday night, and
Mhm.
the Eagles, despite them, but they won last week too, right? The Eagles,
Yeah, that
did
was
they?
that Monday night game against the Packers, right?
I don't even know. Okay, I'm trying to think. No, the Lions when they beat the Lions, they beat the Lions.
Yeah, you're right,
Yeah, they beat
right.
the Lions. The Eagles this season they haven't been playing well, but they've been managing to win. Um, the Cowboys, the you knew coming into this game, the Cowboys offensively they were going to put up points. Offensively, they
I
were going to
mean,
do a good job, but defensively,
the Cowboys come back or not, it's not really talking about like how the Eagles kind of collapsed because they were up 21-0 in the first, like nearing the end of the first half. And I don't know. I feel like this is kind of telling like one of the defending Super Bowl champions. I know they want to get back, but this has kind of been the thing with the Eagles. And I know everybody looks at the Eagles with like all this drama and all this, like they thrive off of that. But honestly,
like how
this is a little different because this has kind of been the whole story of the season. Yeah, their offense looks a little iffy, but they still manage to win games. But I don't know. I don't know how long can you keep doing that because I don't know if that's sustainable either. And
um
e- even in Philadelphia, it's been getting loud with their offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. If you say
Yeah.
their, if you go to Philadelphia and you say that guy's name, watch, like, don't be surprised they probably punch you in the face.
But that's the thing. Well, let's say next game, or they start doing offensively, they do good. Then they're gonna forget about that. Then it's just like it's the thing about
It's
Philly
like,
fans.
yeah, probably for like the last 2 weeks, AJ Brown's probably taking a lot of hits in the media, and then when he finally gets a touchdown, and you start thinking, oh, everything's gonna be fine.
I mean, I'm sure he's happy, but
And then what?
because
Like
he
I
by
said,
what?
it's one thing. It's one thing. Like all the attention's on him, but also what he's kind of been saying is kind of reaching the surface, and now you kind of look at him like, well, he's not wrong, and he also isn't getting his touches, but he also ain't getting like the
But not
lunch,
even,
like lion's share of the
but
snaps. But like
but not
he
even
kind of had,
Saquon.
he kind of has been right about like the offense really laid up the part despite winning games.
Yeah, because Saquon, look at Saquon. Like last season and this season, like he only had 10 carries for 22 yards, and then receiving seven catches for 52 yards, and then he had that fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it just offensively they haven't really.
I mean, yeah, they won the Super Bowl, but like this really isn't the recipe of like a defending your title. And also keep in mind the offensive line got a lot of credit last year for basically having basically the year Saquon had, and also they're missing their guy name Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, he's out, and that's also kind of been. I think that's also been an effect on like their struggles on offense too.
But
So
you think it's gonna be like one of that season where they were like when then they out of nowhere they just collapsed towards the end and then like is it looking like that?
it's starting to smell like that. I'll probably say that.
Like it's gonna be the only way it's gonna be tough for the Cowboys to even make the playoffs because like there's a lot of good teams, especially in the AFC North, and then somebody got to win the NFC South.
I mean, the Eagles they were looking like the team to kind of, believe it or not, actually
It
repeat as NFC East
it's crazy
champions.
because
But
it's kind of
now,
crazy
now you see the Cowboys they're starting to kind of like hit their momentum, and everybody kind of like probably started writing them off after the season. But
if
now they kind of got guys coming back on defense, and now their defense they're not looking like how they were in the first half of the season.
that and Jerry Jones kind of looking like he made the right decision, got the right guys. You got Quinn Williams in the trade. Who else did they get?
The guy they traded away from Mark Parsons, Kenny
No,
Clark.
no,
I mean,
yeah,
he was making plays too.
yeah. But offensively, man, another George Pickens. George Pickens is
He caught every target that went his way too.
that
Nine
one
targets and nine
that
catches.
what's the name? Cooper DeJean got a you got Moss moment
Yeah, he
because
basically he mo- he
he
mossed
Moss
he mossed him in double coverage.
yeah. I mean George Pickens like this is who like people. You obviously your Steelers, but he had signs in Pittsburgh of doing that and coming off college in Georgia. But this is who he is. You know, he's gonna make some great plays as long as he stays focused and stuff. And he has
I
a
mean,
quarterback. He has an actual
yeah,
quarterback now.
I mean, yeah, kind of like going back to like what I was saying with the Steelers too. I don't know it'd be different if we didn't trade George Pickens, but I don't know.
He thrives more in this offense, and obviously having Dak helps
I
him.
mean,
And
I
he's not the
told
number.
I
He's not
tolerated the
what.
crash outs. I didn't think we are actually going to do it, but
Yeah,
they decided to kind of like go their separate ways. And yeah, it's kind of, I think a lot of people are also still looking at like, did the Steelers really mess up by trading away George Pickens and then what could have been with him and DK? But oh no, it's not really also getting talked about. But I think this week he actually had something in the Players Tribune. You know about the Players Tribune, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think he actually kind of wrote a story in the Players Tribune. I think he kind of like he admitted like, yeah, me and Pittsburgh kind of we went our separate ways, but it's still love. Like he still has a soft spot for Pittsburgh, and both sides just want to go their separate ways. But
Yeah.
I think that coming out during the week, I think there's still a part of Steelers Nation that's like, you're all right with us, George.
Yeah. But I mean, he has an incredible season. 9 catch for 146 yards, one touchdown. And CeeDee Lamb could have had more. And if CeeDee Lamb didn't have his like the drops and once CeeDee Lamb starts connecting and starts catching these balls, the Cowboys can offensively they're dangerous and they
I
can make a
mean,
playoff push.
kind of going back to what I said too, he's also in a contract year, and a lot
Well,
of
he getting
Dallas
paid.
Cowboys, a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans, I've been seeing a lot. They definitely Jerry just like open up the check and give George whatever he wants, but
Oh, he's a fan favorite now. He's
keep
definitely a fan.
keep in mind, Jerry Jones is the same guy that one didn't want to pay Micah, two he likes to play hardball with his deals,
He doesn't,
three.
but it's crazy because he pays his guys, the guys he drafts, doesn't usually pay the guys that,
I mean, all I'm gonna say with Cowboys fans, enjoy it while you have it, because like I said in the off season, you never know. And a little insight, I know Michael Parsons' agent was also David Mulugeta, and I think a lot of things were reported about like I don't know, maybe him and Jerry didn't really see eye to eye on certain things. George Pickens' agent is also David Mulugeta, so like I said, Cowboys fans, enjoy what you have for now. What happens in the future, off season, we don't know.
yeah,
So
we'll see what happens. It's a good fit, but I mean, we'll see if he wants to get paid.
I don't know what other teams got cap space.
Yeah,
So
Patriots.
yeah, I was thinking. I'll just say it. I think I don't know. Maybe Braves. Maybe wants to go back to AJ Brown. He kind of coached in Tennessee.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe. Yeah,
He
but
was
let's
catching passes from Tom Brady in the pregame.
yeah, all
He's
right,
always had a soft spot for New England.
yeah, let's move on. Let's end it. Man, the Ram just blew out the Bucks. Matt Stafford is, I think, the MVP of the season. He is the MVP of the season. Him and Devontae's connection, especially in the goal line, is automatic touchdown.
This is the thing
Adding,
with, I mean, this is the thing with Matt Stafford. He's a number one overall pick. He's still getting up there in age, but he's already won a Super Bowl. He already has the stats to even make the case for the Hall of Fame too. So, honestly, the even crazier thing about it is just like he's playing with nothing to lose. Like I think Matt Stafford's just doing it for the love of the game. And he's still playing on a high level.
and he had
And even
before the
yeah,
season started, he had a back issue, right?
yeah, people were even questioning like, oh no, maybe those hits he's taken over the years started to catch up with him. He didn't play in the preseason. A lot of people were nervous, but it's just looking like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah, and he still those no look passes. Then that one was with the touchdown to what, Parkinson? I think that was the touchdown that he did the no look passes. But him and Devontae's connection has just been unbelievable, especially like Puka's like definitely the deep threat guy, and Devontae's goal line touchdown.
It's
But this
like
game,
going back to like, yeah, it's just like going back to the Rams. It's just a Sean McVay coach teams. Like no matter what happens, they're still always going to be kind of a powerhouse on offense, regardless of whatever players they have or whoever's throwing the ball. But
defensively they played well too. Defensively
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they got young guys. Durant that got that picks was it like a it's not like was it a pick
K
or
Dot and ball.
fumble?
K Dot, he couldn't secure the cat
Caught it, yeah,
ball
I
with the
know.
ball, and like he just took it back. It
Yeah,
found the right hand. He just took it back to the house, and
yeah. They got Jared
yeah,
Verse,
hmm he was
like
the
eight.
defensive rookie of the year too.
Yeah, so they got some guys out there in LA, and LA is looking like they were so close of going to the NFC Championship and being
Yeah,
the Eagles that I'm sure they're like, okay, this is the year. This season we got this. This is our year. And
it's
the way
nice
that
to
the
say
Eagles
that. Like, yeah, they were that one team that kind of gave the Eagles the run for their money, and even in I know LA is known for being sunny in LA, but they even did that in Philadelphia in that snowy weather. So honestly, I don't think it's premature to really say like maybe we could see this team in San Francisco come in
we we
February.
we could see them. I'm really liking this team. And Kyron Williams really didn't do much this. He didn't really have to. He only had 12 carries, 46 yards. Um, but yeah, they're 9-2, and I think they're first in the NFC, if I'm not mistaken. The Bucks. Unfortunately, Baker got hurt. Uh, Good news, it's not too bad of an injury. I don't know whether he's gonna be Do they have a game next week or do they? Let me see. They do. They on Sunday they play the Cardinals. So I think it's like a low sprain or low shoulder sprain or something like that. If I'm not mistaken with Baker. Um, in the last throw where he threw the ball, got picked off. But yeah, man. Any last words before we end this pod?
Uh, I don't really think there's much. I think we
We'll
kind of
see.
hit everything on the head.
Yeah, we got some good Thanksgiving games, finally. Packers, Lions, Chiefs, Cowboys. What's the Ravens?
Bengals, Ravens.
Joe Burrow coming back. So we got some good games. We got some good games. Lions, Packers. Who do you got? I got the Lions winning that game.
Lions, Packers. I think that one will actually. That's the first game of the Thanksgiving slate. That one will actually probably deliver.
Yeah, I
Still,
got the
still the video.
I got the Lions. Who you got?
It comes
Jordan Love
down to a
hasn't played
field
well.
goal.
Jordan Love hasn't been playing well. Um, Chiefs,
No,
Cowboys. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if Josh Jacobs will be back for that game either. Keep that in
Hey,
mind.
Emmanuel Wilson has been he balled out 2 touchdowns. Chiefs, Cowboys. I think it's in Jerry World.
I think it should be in Jerry World.
I I think the Cowboys pull up the upset.
I think the
I s-
Chiefs equal. I think the Chiefs equal out.
all right, and then lastly, the Bengals versus Ravens. I don't know about this one. Uh,
Yeah,
they
Jamar
won't.
Chase is
They
coming back, but
T
T. Higgins
Higgins
will be out.
T Higgins will be out. Um, it's at home. It's at it's in the jungle, right? Or is it Baltimore? I think it's in Baltimore.
Um,
Is it in Baltimore?
don't know. I think it
Uh,
might be in
yes.
Cincinnati.
No, it's in Baltimore. It's in Baltimore. The Ravens are -7 to win this game. I think the Ravens win this game. It's at home. Derrick Henry scored 2 touchdowns. Even though they haven't looked good. No, I think the Bengals win. I think the Bengals upset the Ravens. I think from what I saw a little bit of the game of the Patriots, their defense showed some improvements. They could have won the game. Joe Burrow coming back might help them out. It might be a good game for Jamar Chase. I got the Bengals winning this game, upsetting the Ravens.
By five. I don't know. Somebody just tell me. I think the I think the Ravens. The Ravens
You don't
probably
want
lose
you
off
don't
of.
you don't.
I think the Ravens win off of Bengals miscue. I can just see that happening for some reason.
All right, yeah. All right, that will do it for today's pod. We'll be back for another episode. Till then, peace.
Here we go, Steelers. Don't disappoint me next week.